I remember when Daniel Bryan called the audience fickle for turning their backs on him once he won that match at WrestleMania. And the fact that he came out of retirement and the audience didn't really cheer for him that much. That's what added on to that evil vegan heel Daniel Bryan character when he called the audience fickle, because they are. I bet people are wondering or guessing that I'm going to pick the obvious, right? By choosing The Rock, by choosing Hollywood Rock. And this will shock you, but no. I'm not going to choose Hollywood Rock. And here's why. Hollywood Rock had no heat. He didn't get anybody over. He got himself over, but he didn't get his opponent over, and that's the difference. People say Hollywood Rock was so great, he was this, he was that. He was the definition of a fucking tweener. I didn't know what he was. Especially when I was a kid. I didn't know what he was when he came back from Hollywood. Was he a heel? Was he a face? He was trying to be a heel, but it was like he lost his way on trying to be a heel. It's like he forgot how to be a heel. It's like people say, oh, he was so entertaining, he was this, he was that. That's not what I want out of a heel. I have to not want to like you. I can't cheer you. I gotta want to boo you. Especially as a kid, I have to not like you. Too many people liked Hollywood Rock. He had no heat. The only time he had heat was when he had this rock concert and he dissed their sports team. I think he was in Sacramento. That's the only time he actually got booed, was when he dissed Sacramento sports team. That's it. That's the only time he actually got booed by the audience. But even then, people still loved him. People were not laughing at him. They were laughing with him. They still respected him. He was entertaining, but he was funny. He was funny. He was hilarious. That's not what I want out of a heel. You can't be funny. You can't be hilarious. I can't be laughing with you. I have to want to see other faces beat you up. It's like, how was he a heel when he was singing? He had rock concerts. He was singing with his guitar. And how are you a heel when you were asking for audience participation? The Rock was still pandering to the audience even when he was a heel. He was Hollywood Rock. He was still pandering to the audience. That's not what I want out of a heel. I remember he was struggling being a heel, right? I remember, what's his name? Bruce Pritchard said when he and when The Rock and Goldberg was having a match, when it was like feuding, he said that The Rock came up to him backstage and he said, "They are not trying to boo me. They don't want to boo me." He said that everything I do, they want to cheer me. They don't want to boo me for some reason. He said, everything I do, I can't get booed. They cheer me no matter what. And it wasn't getting Goldberg over. In fact, you can blame The Rock for actually ruining Goldberg's first run. Goldberg's first run was very underwhelming, and I blame The Rock. It was his fault. It was his fault. because that was Goldberg's like first major feud. But The Rock was so entertaining, he was so hot that Goldberg was supposed to be the face. But The Rock was so funny, he was so hilarious, he was so entertaining that the crowd turned on Goldberg and they cheered The Rock. That's why The Rock wanted to change the programs. He told Bruce Pritchard that he wanted to wrestle Rey Mysterio Jr. because he felt like he could get more heat on Rey. But on Goldberg, he was getting no heat, and that's why he wanted to change. That's why he wanted to change opponents, because Goldberg was actually turning him back into a face. That's why he wanted to change programs and feud with Rey. That's what I mean by people overrate Hollywood Rock. He was more of a face than a heel. Even though he was trying to be a heel kinda, but the crowd wasn't buying it. He was like the opposite of Becky Lynch right now, currently. In terms of, yeah, he was trying to be a heel, but the crowd still loved him. Even though the crowd wasn't buying it, they still found him entertaining. See, with Becky Lynch, she's trying too hard to be a heel and the crowd knows it. The crowd ain't buying it, which means she ain't getting cheered and she ain't getting booed. The crowd is just waiting. The crowd is waiting on her to be a face again. That's different from The Rock. See, The Rock was so entertaining, the crowd couldn't boo him. That's what I mean. For example, go back and watch Goldberg versus The Rock. They had a match on pay-per-view, and Goldberg got booed. They turned on Goldberg, and the crowd turned Rock into a goddamn face again. I seen that match. They turned Goldberg into a fucking heel, and that was not the point. The point was to have The Rock put Goldberg over as a top face, but The Rock was the wrong opponent. Who the hell was going to boo The Rock and cheer Goldberg? I mean, look, I love Goldberg, but not more than The Rock. See, The Rock was at a point where you couldn't really boo him. It's like he was too entertaining, and the audience missed him based on the fact that he was in Hollywood and they missed him, so they couldn't really boo him. So Goldberg was the wrong opponent. But when it comes to Hollywood Rock, it's like, okay, his whole gimmick was he came from Hollywood. His fame got to his head. He felt like he was better than Denzel Washington. That's how arrogant he was. He thought that he was better. He thought he was better than everybody else, and the fame went to his head because his ego got boosted up by being in a couple of fucking movies. So I did like the gimmick because it was based on real shit. His ego did get big from Hollywood, but it didn't feel like a heel to me. He just felt like a face. He was a cocky, arrogant, delusional heel, but he didn't feel like a heel to me. He didn't feel like a bad guy. And during that run, he gave zero fucks. When he came back from Hollywood Rock, he gave zero fucks about his last run. And here's why. He broke kayfabe like multiple times during that run. Like he gave zero fucks. I remember there's a clip on YouTube. It was a clip from Off Air on a Raw episode. And after the match, I think he was facing Booker T, maybe. But after the match, this was when the cameras was off. This dude grabbed the microphone after the match and he said, "All right, even though I'm a bad guy now on TV, I gotta give a shout out to my boys from the Toronto Raptors basketball team. They are in the front row." I'm like, huh? See, during that run, he gave 0 fucks. That was the best part about that run. He gave 0 fucks. But he had no heat. Nobody was booing him. He was too entertaining. He was too funny. He was too hilarious. He got nobody over. Come on, like, dude. This was like off air, right? There's a clip on YouTube. This dude did the fucking spin-a-rooney with Booker T, the guy he just faced in his match. This was off air. This dude did the fucking spin-a-rooney. I'm like, how are you a heel and you're doing a fucking spin-a-rooney with Booker T, the guy you just faced? See what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by he had no heat. He was a face. He was still a face disguised as a heel. So that's what I mean by he got nobody over. Now let's talk about the evil heel Daniel Bryan. I think the evil heel Daniel Bryan was way better than Hollywood Rock, because evil heel vegan Daniel Bryan actually got guys over. He actually had mega heat, because everybody hates vegans. Vegans are very arrogant. They think they know better than you. They're cocky. They are arrogant. They are fucking know-it-alls. That shit felt like real life. I mean, his character felt real, because there was a lot of vegans in real life that acted exactly like him. So that character was relatable, and it was based in real life, and your ass can actually hate it, which I did. But no, that was a good thing. People did not like vegan heel Dan Bryan in terms of he was such a great heel. That's what I mean. Nobody would cheer him. Nobody would cheer this man. He was getting booed out the building. Every week he was getting booed out the building. Nobody would cheer this man. I mean, he killed the fucking yes movement. That's what I mean. Nobody was saying yes. Nobody was. Once he turned to the evil vegan heel, nobody was saying that dumbass yes shit. Like, he killed that noise. I mean, he had a great feud with AJ Styles. He had a great feud with Kofi Kingston. He put guys over. It's like, dude, he helped build up Kofi Mania. That's how great of a heel he was. People want to see him get his fucking ass kicked. That's the point. Because these vegans, they think they are way better than you. They do too much. They rag on you about eating meat. They rag on you about wearing fur. This and that. You gotta recycle. This and that. They are annoying to be around. And Daniel Bryan, he actually played off that. That's why he had mega heat. He was getting booed out the building. He was putting guys over. It's like he put Roman over, he put Kofi over, he put AJ over. He put over a lot of dudes. That's what I like about Daniel Bryan. He ain't selfish. But The point is, I felt like the vegan evil Daniel Bryan was way better than Hollywood Rock because he had more mega heat. It's like, dudes, like, if it wasn't for him, there would be no Kofi Mania. Because look, it takes two to tango, right? Because like, look, how can a face get over if you have no heel that's a top guy? It's like the evil vegan evil Daniel Bryan was so over, people were begging for Kofi to beat him for that title. I mean, dude, he actually rebranded the damn title. He remade the fucking WWE Championship to a hemp belt. That was more heat. He actually changed the belt to that ugly ass belt. Remember? That's what I mean. It's like he knew how to be a heel. Especially his promo with The Miz. I remember he was on Miz TV. That was one of the best promos of Daniel Bryan's life. This dude was yelling like a fucking psychopath in that promo. The Miz was fucking creeped out. Go back and watch that promo when Daniel Bryan was on Miz TV. He sounded like every vegan I know. Like I said, vegans are the most annoying people on the face of the earth. That's why he got over. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Oh, you guys are awful people because your ass eat meat, this and that. Y'all drive cars that take out so much gas from the universe. See, like bull shit like that. He was on that tip. That's what got him over. Saying that kind of bullshit to the audience that nobody wants to hear. But that was the point. If nobody wants to hear it, that means he was getting more heat. Because he was the typical vegan in real life that people hated. It's like, man, that was the reason I compare The Rock. The reason I compare Hollywood Rock and evil vegan heel Daniel Bryan, because both had short runs that should have gone longer. But with The Rock, he was too entertaining to be considered a fucking heel. Like, he was getting nobody over. That's what I want out of a heel. I don't want you to get yourself over. I want you to get your opponents over. If The Rock was so great at that time, then how come Goldberg got booed and he got cheered? That's a bad thing. That means you're not a good heel. What part of that don't you understand? We are not supposed to cheer heels. We are supposed to boo them. We supposed to want top faces to beat them. Nobody wants The Rock lose. That's the difference. That's the difference. Daniel Bryan was must-see TV every week. He had some of the best promos. In fact, I feel like the evil vegan Daniel Bryan, that was the best run of his whole entire career. You know why? Because that character was his idea and he got himself over. See, that was different from the Yes movement because he did not get himself over. The crowd got him over. Sheamus, Randy Orton, they got him over. Triple H, Stephanie, they got him over. See with the vegan heel Daniel Bryan, he got himself over. That's the difference. So that was raw talent. The vegan evil heel Daniel Bryan, that was raw talent. That character helped build a lot of guys that year. AJ, fucking Roman, Kofi, a lot of dudes he built up that year because of that evil character. The Miz, he helped build the Miz up back in that year. Like, Daniel Bryan was putting over a lot of guys. And he had the best crowd reactions when it came to being a heel. That's what I mean by, yes, he was better than Hollywood Rock. I go by facts and evidence. The facts are that Bryan had more heat than Hollywood Rock because nobody was laughing at him. Nobody was cheering him. People wanted to see him get his ass kicked. Like, for example, I remember they had a contract signing, Kofi and Daniel Bryan. Bryan had so much heat in that segment, they were saying asshole. Anytime you get the audience to say asshole to you, that means you got mega heat, especially in this era where all crowds are fucking dead. That's how much heat Daniel Bryan had as a heel. They were saying asshole when he was facing Kofi. Now, you know, the audience, they rarely say asshole to heels in this era. Ask Roman. Has Roman ever been called an asshole? See, people say he's a great heel, right? But how come he's never gotten an asshole chant? You see, Bryan, he got the asshole chant 2 years ago. See what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Mega heat, that's my qualification. Do you got heat with the audience? You can't be a fucking tweener. Do you got heat with the audience? That's what Daniel Bryan had more than Hollywood Rock. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by the evil, vegan, psychotic heel Daniel Bryan was way better than Hollywood Rock because he had more context. We knew what he was. He was a top heel. He was no fucking tweener. We knew what he was. He had mega heat more than Hollywood Rock. Hollywood Rock wasn't trying because he gave zero fucks during that run. He was just trying to be funny and entertaining, but that's not what a heel is. You can't be funny. You can't be entertaining. You gotta have the crowd not like you. You can't ask for crowd participation during rock concerts. That's not what a heel is. That's why Goldberg failed during his first run with the WWE. Because The Rock couldn't get him over. Corporate Rock was a way better heel than Hollywood Rock. I mean, it's quite obvious. Corporate Rock, nobody liked it. Corporate Rock. He was a hated heel. He did heel tactics that got him over as a heel against Austin. Corporate Rock was way better. Now, when it came to vegan heel Daniel Bryan, it's like, man, he had so many gem promos, man. He had so many gems. I remember what he said. I remember when he was on Raw. He was like, why would anybody watch Raw? Why would I watch Raw? Nobody wants to watch Raw. That was hilarious shit. It's like, man, he had so many gym promos, man. It's like, heel Daniel Bryan was a total package. That's it, man. I'm done.